Hey guys, still here and welcome back to Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. In case you're wondering why you are still seeing Alpha 7.5 on this video, it's because I'm recording it several months in advance, because I have a period coming up where I might get very little sleep, very little productivity, because I'm having a child, / already have had the child at this point when the video comes out. So, I need to make sure that I have some videos scheduled in advance, and this is one of the videos that gets recorded in late July, but gets aired a lot later, as you are figuring out right now. Now, the scenario is called the Spanish Civil War. It's created by Bardos, and he says it's 1938. The Spanish Civil War, and this is all historical, the Nationalists have noticed the Republican fleet consisting of 2 heavy cruisers and 4 destroyers, which were steaming west through Gibraltar. They suspect their intent is to harass shipping west side of Gibraltar and bombard Nationalist positions along the coast. Nationalists don't have enough ships to safely engage them, so they asked Germany to assist, who agreed and sent one of their pocket battleships, Deutschland, together with its escort. Now, the escort is consisting of 2 light cruisers and 2 destroyers, and the enemy is going to have 4 DDs and 2 heavy cruisers. I'm going to be building something that, shall we say, resembles Deutschland class, which might be a heavy cruiser hull, it might be a battle cruiser hull, but I think a heavy cruiser hull will suffice, as the Deutschland class apparently had a full load of 14,290 tons. So this means that I think a heavy cruiser hull will suffice. Now, if you want to send in your own scenario, you can do so. Link is down below in the description. And please post it through there and not in the comment section. Comment section is just for the video, and the description has the link where to send your scenarios. Alright, let's get to building. Oh, hang on, before I do. Starting range was not supplied. Well, in that case, I'm going to set it to 12,000 meters. Alright, Deutschland class. They were built between 1929 and 1936. And they have a total displacement of 14,290 tons. If I drag this all the way down, it's 15,500. Oh, this is one of those exceptionally long cruisers. Length, 583. Oh, it's actually not as long, but the Deutschland class seems a bit wider than that. So let's go with the heavy cruiser hull and set it to minimum. Right. These things had a length of 610 feet. In that case, this one's actually a bit closer. Could I make it work? 14,900? No, 14,290. So let's say 300. Length, 620 feet. Length, 610 feet, according to the wiki. So I'm actually quite close. Not bad. Alright. Next step. Make sure that the speed lines up. The speed is 26 knots. And that is going to be a pretty decent turning circle for this ship. I'm going to say that the range is long. She was supposedly able to do 19,000 kilometers at 20 knots. So let's say long range and exceptionally... Well, maybe she didn't have maximum bulkheads. Maybe she just had many bulkheads. The ship apparently had diesel engines. 8 MAN diesel engines with 2 propellers. So let's say it was Marine Diesel 1. Oil-fired. Let's go for balanced draft boilers. Do something a bit different. And an auxiliary diesel engine. And advanced propeller shaft 2. Running up, Krupp 4 armor. She's going to have a heavy barbette thickness. A bit of torpedo bulge. Double bulkheads, or sorry, double hull bottom, anti-flooding 2, and citadel turtleback. Right, what else did she have? She had 6 11-inch guns in triple turrets. So let's set that up. I think that this ship is way too long for what I have in mind. But okay, let's make do. 6 11-inch barrels, so that's 3 there. And 3 there, and that looks a bit weird. A bit weird indeed. Now the Deutschland class didn't quite have them on barbettes, they just more or less had them on the deck. So let's do that. That one turret's almost the same size, or at least the same width as the secondary tower. We're gonna have a bit much for weight offset. That's a little better. 1.5%. Alright, how many funnels did she have? Just the one. Ideally amidships, but I can't quite make that work. Let's make sure she has the right name before I forget that. In Deutschland. Engine efficiency, 100%, so that's good enough. Now, she had 6 11-inch guns. She also had 8 6-inch guns, or 5.9-inch technically. These were single-barrel secondaries. Unfortunately, I can only go for 5-inch guns as secondaries, so I'm going to have to go with, I guess, side-mounted single barrels? I don't think I can make this fit. Not in the positions where the ship was supposedly using those. So maybe I will have to revert to 5-inch singulars. Otherwise it's just not going to fit. One here. One here. And then one there. And one there. Turning these is not going to be terribly useful. But at least she has a bunch of secondaries now. She also had 6 4-inch twin anti-air mounts. Anti-air is currently not implemented in the game, and that's July 22nd, Alpha 7.5. But who knows, maybe at a later point it will be implemented. I don't know what the intention is. Where do we fit these things in? She had 6. What sort of a battery, or rather, where would you put those? Because I don't really know. If you had 6, that's 3 per side, so that's probably singulars? But that does not want to fit on this hull. I could put one here, and then another one there. What if I go for 3-inch? No. Alright, I'm going to leave out those 4-inch guns, and I'm going to set up a couple of 2-inch guns, because she apparently had 8 1.46-inch anti-air gun. So that's 2 here, 2 there, and that's 8 in total. She also had 21-inch torpedo tubes, and we shall set those up here. So that's 4 per side, right there. Alright, propellant and shells. Let's go with standard shells today and use 2 powder. Electrical turrets, semi-auto loaders. Torpedo propellant, standard. No, I'm going to make those run electric. Far more difficult to detect and far more useful in that fashion. Rangefinder, coincidence 4. And acoustics, radar. Did she have radar? That's a good question. I'm not seeing it. Doesn't mean she didn't have any. I'll take some liberties and say she had a radar rangefinder and then a radio direction finder as well. Now, I still need to balance her out a bit, because the bow is a bit lighter than the stern. Just a notch. No, it's going to be 0.4. Alright, I can live with 0.4. Armor. This is always where you run into trouble, because the game treats armor very differently from the actual historical build, so I'm not going to exactly follow the historical build here, but maybe more or less use the proportions. She had on her main turrets 5.5 inches of armor. Now, if I go with anything less than about 7 inches of armor, I'm going to get flash fires. I don't want that. So I'll set this to 8. She had a 3.1 inch belt. The game is suggesting 6. And I'm actually going to go along with that, because if I go for the historic build, it's going to be a more historical build, yes, but it'll also be a pretty short video, because the game is simply going to punish me for not having a lot of armor. Let's put a bit of deck armor on there, put some armor on the secondaries, a bit more armor on the turret top, quite a bit more on the conning tower, Let's take that up to 9 inches. And I still have a bit of displacement left to work with. I don't really want to mess with the protection too much more. Electro-hydraulic turrets. They do speed up a bit. Flash fire, 12.5% when you have electrical turrets, 7.5% when you have electro-hydraulic turrets. That's another stat that the game could benefit from showing you here. How quickly does a turret turn around? How quickly can it execute a 180-degree turn? That's something I really would want to know. Alright, this is what I'm going to roll with. Let's put the Deutschland to the test. Now for this video, I'm going to make it a bit different than what you might normally see. I'm going to try and make it a first-person-ish video. So I will only follow the Deutschland, and I'll hand over control of the AI, or I'll hand over control of the light cruiser and the DD to the AI. So these guys, good luck. You're going to be AI controlled, and I'm going to be zoomed in on the Deutschland the entire time. That means that I will not be getting any, let's say, binocular inspection on these ships, because I simply won't be able to tell. I cannot zoom over to the other ship. So let's have the Deutschland check out what is on the horizon by simply sailing to it. Or shooting at it. Our accuracy right now, not great. But we're just more or less dialing in the range. I have already taken a hit to the destroyer. Great. The destroyers are launching their torpedoes. They have a range of 9.9. So you guys are in range at 6.4. Yeah, you're definitely in range. The AI usually sets smoke screens when they're commanding their own destroyers, but it looks like for the V2, the AI is not too keen on setting smoke screens here. So we're probably going to lose the V2 fairly quickly. And you can see that the AI on the enemy fleet is putting up smoke screens. So I seem to be at a bit of a disadvantage here. Now, I want to target, ideally not a heavy cruiser. So let's lock in on this one. Because this might be what I want to hit. My torpedoes have a range of 12.7. Let's turn to port a little bit more. And allow these torpedoes to get underway. It's going to take them a while to get there anyway. Torpedo the target. Oh, incoming torpedoes. I'm not going to be touching my own destroyers. I don't want to be controlling that. I just want to be controlling Deutschland. Secondaries on the DD at 8 kilometers out. Although they only have a range of 9.6. And the secondaries don't feel very accurate. They don't feel like they're going to be able to hit that ship. I've inflicted some damage here against what the game considers a torpedo boat. So it's probably a DD. 52% identification there. 75 here. What's the rest of my fleet doing? Ah, they're finally smoking up. And the V2 has recovered. My light cruisers, Cormoran and Mains, have 7-inch guns. But the AI is keeping them attached to the Deutschland, so they'll not join the fight for a while. Oh, nice. What happened to you? A DD torpedo hit it. It hit potentially the same target twice. And actually killed it off very quickly. Nice work. Now, I don't think I'll ever find out what that is. Because I won't get the identification in time. 72% there, 67% there. No, ship's gone. We know about what this DD's up to. The tear. Torpedoes out to a range of 10.1, 62.5, far more visible than usual. That's going to help. Now the enemy has 2 heavy cruisers and 4 DDs, so I think we sunk one of them, one of the destroyers. And that means there's 3 DDs left with torpedo tubes. Potentially just the one. But again, I don't want to inspect that ship up too close. Let's Still haven't dropped my torpedoes off, so let's hold them in reserve. We might need them at shorter range. Ah, we got another identification on the DD, the Pronta. The Lanao. And then these must be the heavy cruisers. Yep, identification confirmed. Isla de Luzon, 9-inch guns. And the other one... No. Not doing that. Is yet to be identified. What I can tell you about these guns, or about these ships, is that they have 9-inch guns, torpedo tubes, potentially underwater singular tubes, and 5-inch secondaries. Now, it looks like we really need to take care of the Lanao. She gets too close, I'm gonna have a big issue. What do we tell about the torpedo detection? Hydro 3. Well, that might be worth it. Try to get the starboard launcher away. Taking some small hits to the main tower. You have just torpedoed my heavy cruiser. Time to start turning. For some reason my torpedoes still don't want to launch. Fine. I'll save those for potential drive-bys later. See if you can torpedo the Isla de Luzon, and the other is the Begonia. Alright, 0.6% chance to hit the DD. Has the other one also launched? Not yet. She's still loading. That's good. Where's the rest of my fleet? We got the DDs over at a range of 7.2. And we have the light cruiser still in pursuit. Still sort of screening. Looks like the mains... Wow. You got hit bad. You got hit by 9-inch shells, so that's the heavy cruiser. And they've inflicted severe damage on the mains. Fortunately, she's still alive. I think that's courtesy of her maximum bulkheads, otherwise she would have flooded out. Bow dipping fully into the waves there. It is weird seeing this ship operate without anything on the barbettes. If I were to design the ship normally, I would probably do it with a couple of secondary, let's say 5-inch on there. There's more torpedoes in the water. Looks like this DD got a bit trigger happy. Let's start turning around. Here come the torpedoes. 1, 2, 3. Deutschland evading hard. Ooh. I caught those just in time. I know there's more incoming, I just don't know exactly what direction they come from. That DD was fairly close, the other one, the Tear. And the Tear has just launched her torpedoes. And Lanao is reloading? Yeah, Lanao is still reloading. I would love to get those DDs out of my way so I can start focusing on the bigger fish. The heavy cruisers. Main gun trained on the Begonia. And it looks like the light cruisers are starting to pitch in. There's shells flying overhead of the Deutschland. I'm not sure exactly what the plan is from my DDs. They're trying to tackle another DD. Okay, I have spotted torpedoes. Judging by the range, I'd say they were just launched by Lanao. Come on, Lanao, where are you? No, not by Lanao. There are torpedoes in the water somewhere, and apparently the Deutschland has detected them, but I wouldn't know where. So far, we've inflicted 1,800 damage in total versus their 689. Most of which damaged probably the heavy cruiser, what was it, mains? Yeah, the mains. It is a bit spooky if you know that there's torpedoes coming for you from somewhere, but you can't quite figure out where. Haven't really done much to those heavy cruisers as of yet. 9.5 clicks out. Penetration chance is really good. These guys have 15.6 inches of armor at the maximum. On... Hold on. What? Armor 3.2 to 15.6. Ooh. I found a torpedo. Where's the 15.6 then? I might have just lost all propulsion. Maybe. And I'm flooding from bow to stern. The only part that's not flooded is the foremost bow compartment. I imagine if I lose the Deutschland, the scenario is done for. Oh dear. She's done for, isn't she? Oh no! Oh dear. Alright. I'll take command of the Cormoran then. The Cormoran's gonna have a really hard time sinking a heavy cruiser with her 7-inch guns. If she is at all capable. So it's an interesting idea to try and do this in third-person perspective, / first-person. Oriented from a battleship or heavy cruiser or any ship that's generally going to see a lot of action. But torpedoes are very hard to spot. What's your range? 12.2. Chance to pen? 4%? Well, without my heavy cruiser, this battle is going to be over very quickly. Especially since my DDs don't seem to really be torping out against the heavy cruisers. Even if they would, the heavy cruisers would spot those. But it depends on the type of torpedoes that these guys bring. Yeah, they're fast. Which means very hard to land. So I think I'm going to lose this scenario very quickly. We got a 100% chance to pen the DDs, but about a 2% chance to hit them, if that. More like 0.2 probably. There goes the V2. The V1 was the heavily damaged one. With damage to her engines, and apparently a flash fire raging through the ship. I expect to see her go down quickly as well. There's another torpedo on the way. Really, the only effective combat ship I still have left is the Cormoran, because the mains is lagging behind at 4.5 to 5 kilometer range. So I don't really expect her to be pitching in anytime soon. It is just the Cormoran. Now these guys, how many guns do they have? There goes the V1. 1, 2, 3... 3? 3. I think 3 turrets. Is that consistent with the ammo? 300 per turret? 254 per turret. No, she has 4 turrets. Cormoran, is your smoke ready? It is. Alright, let's smoke up. And here I was, thinking that this scenario was going to be a bit unbalanced, because I have a heavy cruiser and 2 lights and 2 DDs, versus their 4 DDs and 2 heavy cruisers. But I really have not done a lot of damage compared to them. 8,400 on their part, 1,800 on my part. .9 clicks out. Cormoran trying to do 30 knots. Hopefully these guys are not going to be too accurate, but their accuracy is climbing to 2%. Cormoran, starboard turn. Oh, they're very close to each other because we're hitting them both. Chance to pen at this range? 24%. See, now we're getting somewhere. But ideally, I'd wipe out the DD first. Because these guys are up to no good. Open fire, even if you don't think you're gonna hit it. I need those guns blazing. Because you might just hit the Lanao. The Tear is even closer. And the Tear has her torpedoes ready. How about the other one? The Pronta has her torpedoes ready. Lanao is still reloading. Ooh, fire on the Cormoran. Shells are flying all over the place, but not hitting the Tear. Come on, boys. Build up that accuracy and get rid of that DD. Smoke screen's going to last another 5 seconds. Time to turn away. With the cover of smokescreen, I am relatively confident about the abilities of this ship. Without the smokescreen, this light cruiser is going to be easy pickings for that heavy cruiser. Or rather, those heavy cruisers, because there's 2 of them. Now we've hit the tear once, doing very little damage, as of course the shells overpenetrate the target. And that's because this DD doesn't have any armor. So the shells have nothing to prime themselves on. Fly inside ship, fly out the other side of the ship. Tears once again smoking up. 0.1% chance to hit. Cormoran got hit again. Where's the mains? Oh, still there. They're not launching their torpedoes for some reason. Heavy cruiser range 8.2 and 9.3. Ideally, I just continue to sail around and let them just fire all their ammo at me without actually landing anything. But even so, the 5-inch guns could be a severe threat. Because this light cruiser only has 3 inches of belt armor. And she gets hit again. 9-inch. Penetration on the bow. Fortunately, no flooding. But the armor is starting to weaken. There's the flooding. And there's my rudder damaged. So it looks like the Deutschland class is going to be knocked out very quickly. And the light cruisers are not too far behind it. Still, interesting experience in trying to do this in a sort of first/third person view. But I might not be doing this again anytime soon, because it's not too effective. I just don't have the overview of the battle. Pronto has torpedoes ready, you have torpedoes ready, Lanao has torpedoes ready, but none of them are firing. Good. Wow. Your rudder might be damaged, but I couldn't tell from your maneuverability. That's impressive. Not so impressive is your accuracy. Oh! Cormoran, please survive. And please hit a DD for once. How fast are these things going? 41 knots! Aha. Yes, that would explain it. That would explain why those DDs are so hard to hit. They have a debuff of 80% target fast speed. Yikes. Oh. What are these heavy cruisers firing with? 3% accuracy. Even at 5.5 clicks, I am having a rough time trying to hit these. More flooding on the Cormoran. Even inside my smoke screen, I'm taking hits. And the Cormoran is probably going to start to slow down to a mere 16 knots. She does have maximum bulkheads, anti-flooding 3, so I'm still going to be able to get rid of some of that water, hopefully, and maybe get some speed back, but it won't be a lot. Heavy cruisers out of the range of 9. Huh. I'm not sure exactly how we hit the Pronta. What hit you, Pronta? A light cruiser shell, 7-inch. Might be a misfire from the mains then. The mains didn't actually hit her target, but found something else. Fire on the Lanao, fire on the Terror. These guys don't seem to be terribly impressed with the fires. Few bulkheads only. That could have fooled me. We're getting some better accuracy now. 3 minutes until my smokescreen comes back. If I don't get immediately butchered by a heavy cruiser before that happens. Getting some decent damage on the Terror now. And she's smoking up again. Lovely. 2-inch guns, range 5-1. Open up. Secondary target pronta. She has a few of those secondary guns. Who knows, they might come in handy. We get flooding on the mains. How close is the mains to the heavy cruisers? 4 clicks! Good night. You're not going to survive that one. I can tell you that much. You're not going to live through that fight. The Cormoran is still pecking away with the 2-inch guns, but unsuccessfully. The 2-inch guns so far have done a whole 4 points of damage. Mains is down. Well, it looks like the Spanish are kicking the Germans back out. Maybe I can sink another DD. Maybe the Terror is not going to make it out. Range 5.6. Accuracy now at a decent 4.5%. Smoke it up. Oh crap, did you smoke up as well? I think it did. Speed on the Terror dropping to 22 knots. Speed on the Comoran is dropping to 9 knots. Just keep knocking that DD down a peg, but then the heavy cruisers come in and that's GG. So yeah, scenario lost. Interesting challenge. Trying to get the Deutschland class represented and trying to use her in a first-person perspective. No, actually third person. But no. It was not meant to be. Now, again, if you have a scenario of your own choosing, then by all means submit that down below in the description and you can find a link there where you can do that. And I will also be linking, of course, to the game in the description in case you haven't gotten it yet. I can recommend it, it's a lot of fun. And you can try all your historical or ahistorical builds out in it yourself. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed it, and I shall see you guys soon for another video.